All right, we are live. Hello, my friends and family. It has been a while since I've been here live with you. I've been super busy. As you know, my last broadcast, I talked about the Dissolve Workplace Conflict Summit. I'll put that on here for you who maybe you didn't catch it last time, but this is what's going on live right now, and it has been all of this week, all of next week. Tons of great stuff happening in there if you're looking to solve some of those conflict issues. As you know, that's a big passion of mine, having been bullied in the workplace, and now I call myself an ex-target. I'm on the other side, and I'm helping people just like you to navigate those difficult conversations. And so that's why I haven't been here live with you, and that's why I want you to come and join this summit so you can get from the experts. Aside from myself, 26 people have come together to bring to you strategies so that you can get farther faster. Now, today, I want to introduce you to my host, and I'm going to draw the connection here right away. We've got Vicky. Is it Laffey? I didn't even ask you how you say your last name.
You've got it perfectly right, yes.
Sure. Vicky Laffey is here today, and the reason why I brought her on to talk with you guys today is because many nurses, so if you recall last year, I did the Nursepreneur Conference. It was meant to be a live face-to-face event. COVID hit, and so we put it all online. We had some wonderful conversations, some great stories, and we learned from a lot of different nurse entrepreneurs who are moving and transitioning from their face-to-face nursing practice into a side hustle, into their next career. And so that's why I brought Vicky on today, because she's going to help you discover if being your own boss is the thing that is the next step for you. And she's got an exciting summit as well. And so, as you know, I'm coming to you live in Facebook, I'm coming to you live on Twitter, and I'm coming to you live on YouTube. So if you want to put your comments in, they will be forwarded into us and we'll be able to read them. You may just need to give permission to StreamYard so I can see your name. But if you don't, I'll just see your comment and we will definitely address it. So welcome, Vicky.
Well, thank you so much. I don't think I've ever gone live across so many different streams at the same time before. So,
that's a fabulous way to connect.
Absolutely, yeah. Technology isn't always our friend, so I'm glad it's worked. So brilliant.
Yeah. You know what's so important about this, having you here today, just to help people even navigate this question: should I be my own boss? Is this the right next step? What would I need to consider? How do I get over the icky? Like, there are some things we all don't want to do, but you've kind of brought together this team yourself. What I like about this topic is, so what I know from people, if they feel like they're being bullied in the workplace, there's just too much conflict, they can't get over it, it impacts us on many, many levels. We have our physical impact. People aren't sleeping, they're anxious, they're hypervigilant, and that is no way to live. And I know that these people are doing really good work. They're showing up in the best that they can, but the environment is not conducive for them to show 100%. It also shows up in our relationships. And so we start to trust less. We start to feel like there's always this problem that's going to come forward, or that it's never going to go away because someone keeps bringing it up from the past over and over. And so then we just feel like there's this cloud hanging over us, and we either decide to just avoid them or leave the relationship. But it also impacts our career, and that's the third piece. And that's why it's so important that you're here today, because people feel like they're losing credibility, they're losing respect, their reputation's on the line. So talk to us a little bit about what becoming your own boss is about.
Yeah, well, first of all, I would say to those people in that particular position that you mentioned, quite often these are the people that turn out to be the best entrepreneurs. So you should absolutely, if you're considering this, make that move. And it's a bit like when you leave school, and you know, when you're at school, you think that the school is your world. You can't see outside of that. You don't know another way. But when you leave school and, you know, you go to your high school reunion or whatever, and the school bully is still left in the corner, and they've got a rubbish job, and they're not doing terribly well. And, you know, so it's exactly like that with the place of work as well. So I know it's hard, but absolutely believe in yourself and just make that leap, and you will be amazed at yourself, and you will be a different person in a few months' time after you start it. So yeah, I hope that addresses that as well. What was the other half of your question?
There was probably a lot in there. I tend to talk a lot. Was that the reason that you found yourself in entrepreneurship? Were you finding that you were struggling in the workplace, and that just kind of naturally created You were forced to look for options, and entrepreneurship was what you saw?
Well, actually, it wasn't, but I have experienced that sort of thing in the workplace before, but it wasn't why I personally went into entrepreneurship. My backstory is that I left. I had a very safe IT job in a major bank, and I was there for 8 years altogether. And I just kind of reached that point, where I was like, oh God, there's got to be something else. I do not feel like my soul is dying here. I feel like I need something else, something for me, something more creative, because I'm a creative person. And I just knew this wasn't my life. It was more of a job that I kind of somehow fell into more than anything else. And as it happens, you see, I worked for a bank which was kind of the British version of Lehman's Brothers, So back in the financial crash days, it was well, we all know what happened then. But so there was a few years of sort of difficulty, and there was a few rounds of redundancy or severance, people call it sometimes. And it came to a point. My particular job was. It was safe as it could be, but I just sort of thought, no, enough is enough. I can't do this anymore. I need to do something for me. So I ended up thinking, what else can I be? I need to do something for me. And I started to think, what did I want to be when I was younger? And a florist was one of those things. And so I basically just made moves to do that. I went and retrained. I did everything I could, and got work experience at a local shop, a shop which I ended up buying a couple of years later, which was really fun. And yeah, the rumors of redundancy started to become true eventually, and I thought, well, this is my time, absolutely my time. I couldn't fill my voluntary redundancy form in fast enough, and I left the bank back in 2011 when I'd actually already been running the business for about 6 months before that. So I sort of left straight into it. And I still run that business to this day, as well as a couple of others, including the Content Quarter, which is where I help other small businesses grow. And where I, wanted to do this summit. So it was a huge move, a huge life-changing move. And a lot of people sometimes say to me, oh my goodness, you must have been so brave. And I thought, well, actually, no, I just sort of went for it. I just did it. This is a case of see it, want it, have it. And I went away and I did it. And I'm still running it to this day. I had my 10th business anniversary in January. So I must be doing something right. So yeah, I'm just really passionate now about helping other small businesses, but I particularly wanted to sort of niche down with this Become Your Own Boss Summit, to help people who are going through this like specific position, there's this slice of their life. And because it is a big move, especially when you're moving from employed to self-employed. You're coming from a position of being told what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. And you have, monthly meetings with your boss, and who tells you how well you've done it or how badly you've done it. And it's very structured, and you don't have much freedom. Whereas, with running your own business, you are the one who is suddenly responsible for making all the decisions and making sure that the money is there to pay things. You're making sure that the bills are paid, that your kids are looked after, that your mortgage is paid, and all of these things, as well as all of the other things you have to be in business, like cleaner and accountant and everything all at once.
There are so many hats.
Yeah, absolutely. You know yourself, Tammy. So yeah, people need help with that, and I'm the girl to do it.
Yeah, and that's what you've made a few great points I want to just circle back to. So first of all, it was a transition, and I know so many nurses that I know. And if you're watching, drop a comment. Let me know if you have a side hustle, if you've been thinking about a side hustle, or if you're kind of like in that 1 to 2 years into business, but you're really just not getting that traction, because that was me too, right? It was kind of like that transition phase where you said you kind of had this idea there was something more for you in life. I also happen to know, because I taught nursing for a long time, is some of the students get into nursing and they go, this isn't what I thought it was going to be. And then they start to feel stuck because they went to school. They now have these loans, and it's not filling their soul, like you had mentioned. and they too are looking for what's that next step? How do I transition? Because I'm assuming your family was probably like, what are you doing giving up a good paying job, security, to chase this dream of a flower shop?
Yeah, it's having the support network behind you is an issue that often comes up on the summit as well. It's huge because you're with people, whether it be your mum, your dad, your husband, your wife, whatever it is, who probably aren't self-employed and who don't really understand what it entails. So they don't necessarily need to understand, but they need to support you with that. So the need to say, even if it's things like, making sure you have a hot meal at the end of the day. My husband's great at that when I've been working hard all day, bless him. And he looks after me, makes sure I'm fed and looked after. And, so even little things like that leave you energized enough and in the right headspace to be able to run your business are vital. Financial support, practical support, emotional support. You need this network around you. And that's an issue that often comes up on the summit, definitely.
Yeah, you have speakers that are focused on talking about those kind of pieces as well. Excuse me.
Yeah, we have a whole host of authors and coaches and all sorts of experts and influencers kind of sort of touching on this and talking about it. It's a huge, well, I'm going to say risk, but in a good way.
There is. I mean, I think that's a great word to use. It is a risk in the sense of we are, as entrepreneurs, when you are called to service, when you are called to something bigger, and it doesn't exist in your world that you can actually just step into. I mean, if I could do this for a living and get paid by an employer to sit in my office and create content on helping people solve their conflict problems, I'd be like living the dream, but that doesn't exist for me. So I have to create it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's the key. You have to create that. There's no kind of one size fits all solution for everybody, Yeah. And I think this is when you're coming from the world of employment to self-employment, I think you expect a lot of people think that they need a set list of tasks, a list of rules, or something, to say they've crossed the T's and dotted the I's. And whilst some of that's important, it's important to recognize that there's not a one size solution for everyone. There's no right or wrong. You make your decisions that are best for your business and that suit you as a business owner. I want to sort of pick up on something you said about a side hustle there as well. And I think the key sort of difference, I mean, being a side hustle, it's kind of half hobby, half business, isn't it? You don't have the pressure of it being a business. It's something that you enjoy doing. That's why you do it as a side hustle. So I love helping people through this transition. There's a lot of people in my group who are doing exactly that. They have perhaps a full-time job and they are doing some sort of sideline. And there's some florists in the group, for example. There are some coaches. There are, all sorts of people from all walks of life. And it's the key to turning it from a side hustle into a business is to think of it as a business owner, I think, as opposed to a consumer. You once that necessity is there to pay those bills, you don't have a full-time job to sort of pay those and have that safety net. Once that necessity is there, you have to think like a business owner. You have to price your product properly. You have to make some tough decisions. You have to get yourself out there, take yourself out of your comfort zone, and you take this gift that you walk your gift out into the world, basically. So I'm just going to plug my computer in because it's there we go.
All the things the CEO needs to think about when they go live to do a session. Absolutely. Will my computer last? Oh my gosh, I love it. Yeah, and I think people often start with a side hustle with the dream. Because you had mentioned that this was the artistic side of you, the creative side of you that was really pulling you into this direction. Because there's a lot of things we can do as entrepreneurs. I know right now, because of COVID, many of our nurses went into creating and sewing masks and creating things to keep the masks off your ears, and all sorts of different inventions have come out as a result of COVID that allowed them to fuel their passion while serving at the same time. And now they're probably thinking, some of them, this is a pretty good gig. It actually serves my like spiritual health, my desire to be creative, but still kind of helps. How can I transition to being a full-time boss? And often I think, myself included, self-disclosure, you just jump in and you do it, but you don't know what you don't know until you've actually had the connection with the experts who have already transitioned, who can fast track your success.
100%. Yeah. I mean, we've got all sorts of people covering exactly that. I think, whilst there isn't a one size fits all solution, what I tried to do with this summit was give a mixture of inspiration, some stories to show people, hey, you can do this too. I know you're thinking of going from being a lawyer to a florist or whatever it is that you're thinking of doing, but these people did it too. You can do it. But also some tangible kind of knowledge and skills that they can sort of take away with them in action and put into action, put them into their business and get results. So there's people talking about all sorts of things to give people the skills, the confidence and the knowledge to kind of get going in their business, to make a start. There's people talking about social media and online presence. There's people talking about visibility and how to get your product out there. There's people talking about sales, because let's face it, nobody likes sales. We're not used to talking about ourselves and saying, hey, my thing is great, whatever it is that you make or do. We've got some inspirational stories. I'm interviewing a speaker who started her business from her kitchen table a few years ago with just herself, a husband and a goat, and now runs a multi-million-pound business. They take millions every year. They ship out 4 tons of product, but crucially helps tens of thousands of people across the globe as well with health issues. So it's a very impactful business, as well as being a very financially successful one. So I wanted to show people, you can do this. Look, she did it. She didn't have a business plan. She didn't have a clue what she was doing. She didn't have any experience in business. She went out there, she learned it. And, not only did she build a business, but the reason why she started the business was through necessity as well. Her husband was actually experiencing major health issues and was very close to, sadly very close to being lost, and she says this on the interview. She says, "Nah, not on my watch." I absolutely love it. I was like, that's exactly how I would be. So she went out there. She was like, she found this thing. She makes goat's milk kefir. Hence the goat. So she went out there. She tried it because they're Welsh farmers, he is. She's American, hence the accent. So apparently Welsh farmers use goats for all sorts of health reasons and all sorts of stuff. Which she didn't know until she married a Welsh farmer. But they tried out this goat's milk kefir stuff and tried it. He had MRSA infection. That was the problem. And they tried it on him and he was cured. And she was like, oh my God, this is amazing. So she'll tell you the full story on the interview, of course, but it's such an amazing story. And I wanted to show people how quite often these changes we make in life, when we're moving from employed to self-employed, are as a result of something quite dramatic and at the time that seemed bad, like redundancy or health issues or something like that. So at the moment you might be feeling like, oh my goodness, I don't know what to do or, how to go about it. You might feel awful at the moment, but once you make that leap, once you make that decision to kind of go for it, it's a game changer. I just wanted to show people you can do it, guys.
You brought up the second thing I wanted to circle back to, and I'm glad you did because I kind of lost it in our conversation. But the thing of redundancy. So in healthcare right now, so I'm in Alberta. I don't know if this is in UK as well, or I suspect it will be in the States at some point. COVID resulted in a lot of us being hired into the hospital, and many people now have employment as a result of COVID. That's one of the positives. We know that as COVID response dwindles, people will be losing their jobs.
Yeah.
And not only the people who were hired, but we can probably expect that they're going to have to recover costs. And so we're going to be losing even more jobs than what they gained. And so that redundancy thing is a real thing on people's minds in terms of, well, what am I going to do when this job ends? Do I have to move to another country to get work? Well, it's probably not going to be any better there. And I know for some of the nurses that have reached out to me personally, and they've been asking me, do you think it's worthwhile going back to school at this point? Do you think I should change out of nursing? I love that you're here to help my audience who might be thinking about starting a business or are already into that process and just kind of like, I don't even know what I'm doing. Hands up, been there. To give them free resources and access to leaders and experts who have already done it so that they don't have to spin their wheels for 2 or 3 years. You know, to be honest, I sat here in this office for many years thinking I was creating a business, but it was slow and it was painful and one step forward, 3 steps back.
Yeah, you and I both. You know, I've, like I mentioned earlier, had spent 10 years in self-employment now. And I wish something like this was available at the beginning when I first started out. I've been there, I've done that, I've made the mistakes, I've had the successes and the highs and the lows, and I know exactly where you guys have been and what you need. And just, you know, rather than being 3 years till you reach an appropriate level, it could be a few months. You know, just gaining that little bit of knowledge and expertise and confidence and knowing that you can do it and knowing kind of what's around the corner because you're part of a group and you've got my expertise and all that sort of thing. It just helps you fly, you know, and sometimes that's all people need is just a little, what I often say to people, you know, you don't have to have all of your ducks in a row before you actually start something. One of the speakers actually talks about the fear of starting as well. And, you know, it's about this whole thing of, you know, you don't have to have everything in place. You don't have to go and, you know, get that new qualification before you start with this new business or anything like that. You guys, you can just literally walk out of your door there now and start selling something on the street, and that is your business. Like, that's it, done. You've started a business. It can be that simple. There's obviously, you know, more to it if you want to keep it being a business, but you know, I think people make you know, they think it's more than it is, and I want to show them. I want to give them the confidence and give them the skills they need to get going. You know, so yeah, you don't have to have everything sorted before you start. Definitely.
Yeah, I agree. Now, are we able to share screens? Are you able to share them? Your kind of like give them an overview of the people. I know you kind of mentioned some of the topics, but I think I'm a visual. I love to see it. And besides that, your page is beautiful.
Bless you. Okay, cool. Well, I will.
And you can just kind of run them down through a few of those people and just kind of do a little name drop in. I think, you know, people need to know who's going to be there.
Absolutely. Right, bear with me. I will try and share application window.
I haven't done this before on StreamYard, so this is...
Me neither. Okay, so I think hopefully this will work. Let me know if you can still see us.
I bet you'll have to change it to you. Maybe this. I know. I think I need to exit out of the screen.
No, I don't think that's working either, Tammy. I hope you're still there.
Here, I am here.
Oh, thank goodness. Okay, I'll stop sharing now. I'll try a different way. Okay, if I...
Oh, yeah, let's do that. There we go. I love it. Yes.
Okay, fabulous. Okay, so that's me in the corner, as you can see. So yeah, it's as you mentioned there, it's called Be Your Own Boss. It's featuring actually 22 experts, including myself. And it's a 14-day masterclass to help you gain the skills and build the confidence that you need to take the leap. So I felt it was important to put these things in here. Because this is what a lot of people think, you know, they're scared in case it fails. They don't know where to start. They're worried about the money, you know, they're used to this monthly paycheck, you know, and that won't be there anymore. So they're thinking, how am I going to pay for everything? Oh my goodness. And so these are the things that a lot of people experience.
I just want to share before we move on there, because that you don't know where to start. Yeah. I was stuck for a year, an entire year, because I didn't think TammyDunnett.com. Tammy Dunnett was a business name. Who am I? You know, people don't know I'm authority. I need a real name. I need a logo. I need a business page. And it stuck me for a year, and I was stalled. And one day my friend said, what the heck is holding you back? Like, why are you not out there doing what you're supposed to be doing? And I'm like, I don't know. I was scared. I didn't know where to start.
Yeah, exactly. So with this summit, this is exactly what we help you do. So, where do you start? And this is what's great about having the Facebook group run alongside the event as well, because everybody's situation is slightly different. And if you've ever got any questions and they want the feedback or the support, or that's all there as well. So yeah, we go through all of that, and it's sponsored by a magazine here in the UK called Startups Magazine, which is great. So these are some of the things that we give you. So some actionable steps to build a business. We have people talking about common business startup failures. In fact, the gentleman, there he is there. So Dr. Donatas Ioannikas, he created a book called the Startup Evolution Curve, which is basically described as an IKEA guide to build your business. So he talks about 7 of the most common business startup failures so that we can help people avoid them, basically.
Yeah. Wow, that's great. I'll bet you spending a year looking for a name and a logo is probably one of them.
Absolutely, yeah. But we've all been there, and it's a big deal. I get why people do that, and that moment when you do get your logo and your business name there, you feel so proud. But it's not the only thing in your business. You need to figure out what you do in your business, and all of that sort of thing first before you do any of that. Otherwise, if you just spend your time on marketing. In fact, this gentleman here, Mal McCallion, runs a company called Groshen. He talks through this sort of thing. So if you have the marketing sorted, you have your logo, you have all the pretty stuff, but have no product or have no idea what you're doing, then that's going to fail. So it's super important. Mal's interview was fantastic, actually, as was Dr. Ioannikas. And yeah, so how to use social media and websites, because that's a big deal. And inspiring stories as well from people who've made the leap and been successful. In fact, a number of these speakers have, they're successful business owners, but they've also made the leap themselves. So this lady here, Julia Brame, so she made the leap from lawyer to wedding blogger.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly, right. And Teresa, he's wearing at the top, her interview was fantastic, actually. So she started, she was going through the process of a divorce. She had that to sort out. She had a kid to pay for. She had a mortgage to pay for, a car to pay for, all of this sort of thing. And she left her marketing job, and all of a sudden she was in this position, and she was like, you know what? Oh my God, I need to earn some money now. And within a week, she was out there. She got clients. She got paying clients. And so her story is absolutely amazing. There's all sorts of amazing people. We have Ali Miles Jenkins here at the bottom here, actually. She specialises in helping the over 50s into the world of entrepreneurship as well, which I think is a great thing, because, a lot of the time people, they hit 50 and they think, oh, goodness, like I'm on the scrap heap, or, I'm too old to be starting anything new, or, all these negative thoughts. But Ali Miles Jenkins talks through just how it's actually an opportunity for you. It's a great life opportunity, and people often don't start really coming into themselves until they reach that age. So absolutely start something new at that age. It's not old at all.
And I'm glad you shared that, because I have had those thoughts too sometimes, sitting here going, am I too old for this? Like,
oh my goodness, you are definitely not, Tammy. No.
It's in those moments of doubt. It's one of those things you reach for to kind of to say, you are too old, just quit, go home, go get a real job, But
yeah, that's easy though, isn't it? That's easy to just slip back into the comfortable thing. And yeah, it's comfortable, it feels nice, but does it get you any further? It doesn't. No, it doesn't solve anything. We've got all sorts of people. Sapna Piru, her interview was great, actually. She was a very last minute bonus speaker. She talks about her system for getting you visible, sort of getting building your business by building your brand, basically. We've got well, let's see who else. Oh, Sally Marshall here. She was she basically has made this leap as well. She runs an online magazine called the Steer Your Business, and she made the leap from the House of Commons here in the UK, that's our political sort of establishment. I don't know if people know that over there. So she made the leap from there and into retirement, and then thought, actually, I'm not retiring. And she started her own business. Mark Soderwall was fantastic as well. He's not only an entrepreneur himself, but he's a bit of an influencer in the subject of imposter syndrome. So that was a really fantastic one. He talks about, he uses an example of Arnold Schwarzenegger, the almighty Arnie, even having imposter syndrome. So tune into the video for that, definitely. You always think people like that wouldn't have imposter syndrome, but he did. So yeah, I mean, I could take you through all of these, but yeah. So there's just a whole host of things. I even get interviewed. I got some members of my lovely group to interview me, and it was great, actually. It was I loved that. So that was fantastic. They all asked me questions. So yeah. And this, gosh, look at all of the amazing publications that they've been featured in. I've got 3 TEDx speakers on board, and BBC, Vogue, major newspapers, Reader's Digest, Sky News, all sorts of people, all sorts of companies, rather. So it's a really great event. I'm really, really pleased with it, and I really am passionate about helping people through it. So I'll stop sharing that for now, so we can come back on screen.
Yeah, that's amazing.
There we are.
That's amazing. And I think it's so helpful for people to kind of have a sense now of what your summit is about. So for those who are watching and they're thinking, oh, I could use some of this information, it's free. Just so you know, you don't have to pay for it. You can get it for free. And it starts, when does it start, Vicky?
Oh, this Monday. Yeah. So it's coming up real soon.
That would be April
19th. Yeah.
19th. My calendar's behind the wall. I look at that 100 times a day. April 19th, Monday. So hop on over to her website, becomeyourownboss.club, and join up for free and access all these resources. If you've ever wondered if it's the right idea for you, if you've been tinkering with some side hustles and you're looking to maybe bolster that a bit, or if you're already in it and you're just not getting traction, come and listen. I've signed up. I know there's a lot I haven't learned, because as many of us as entrepreneurs, when we make that jump out of nursing or healthcare or wherever you're working in, for those who are watching, when you make that jump, there's so much we don't know. We think we know it until we hear the conversation. Then we're like, oh, that's a really good way to close a sale. I think I need that.
It makes so much possible for you. You will be a changed person for the better. I am positive of it, especially with my help.
Yes. I'm so appreciative for you coming and just sharing that with the people who are here struggling in their relationships and thinking that they need an out and that this might be a way for them to go.
It is possible for you guys, absolutely. And if you've got any questions, pop them in the comments. Tammy, you can just let me know or tag me, and I will happily answer them. If you've got any questions before signing up or after you sign up, whichever, just let me know. It's not a problem at all.
Yeah. And so then just for my listeners, just to remind you, if you are in that place where you're struggling with conflict and you're looking for tools, I'll just let you remind you again that we are currently in my own summit, Dissolve Workplace Conflict. You can head over to that website, dissolveworkplaceconflict.com. It did start on Monday, April 12th. It runs until April 25th. There are 2 speakers every day. And I'll tell you, the comments that are coming out of the summit have been amazing. People are saying that this is actually helping them with their learning plan for the year. And they're saying, this is so great. Like, I'm actually going to be able to go and have this conversation now that I've been withholding. And so join that. It's also free. I want to connect you with the experts, just like Vicky is doing in her summit, connecting you with the experts that you need right now to help you move forward in your life, whether that's resolving this issue with a person or branching out into your own business.
It's a fantastic thing that you're doing, Tammy, and you're going to impact so many people with it in a positive way. So, bravo.
Well, and bravo to you. I love that we're able to collaborate on this. So thank you so much for joining us today.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.